Hello there, great person, and welcome to my review of The Matrix 4 Resurrection. So, this is gonna be a two-part review. The first part will be spoiler-free, so if you don't want to get spoiled, no spoilers in the first part. In the second part, I will talk in depth about the new Matrix movie. Um, I want to give you some background first about me and the Matrix so you can, place where I'm coming from. And please keep in mind, this is a review, but it's just my opinion. I don't have any, I'm not a critic, nothing. It's just my opinion because I'm generally a very big fan of the Matrix. They are one of my favorite movies, actually. And they are. I think one of the first movies I've ever watched in English, and I learned a lot of English from the movies because I watched the German version because I'm German, and I watched the English version, and I got quite a lot of new words, and I got into some philosophy as well because they're quite deep on a philosophical level. So, how did I get into the Matrix? I wasn't allowed to watch it actually when I was younger when they came out. I think they came out 2000, 2001. I was 6 or 7 at the time, 8, 9, and I didn't really get to watch them because my parents said, no, you're not gonna watch that. It's you in Germany you had to be 16 to watch them. So yeah, I did not watch them, and I think when I was 14, I got some of them completely legal on DVD, and I watched them, and I watched. I didn't even know the order you have to watch them in. So I watched Matrix. It was, I think, on a TV station, and it was at about 11:30 it started, and I only was allowed to watch to 12. So I watched half an hour about a Mr. Anderson getting hunted down by agents and getting his mouth, and then Morpheus said, yeah, there are these two pills, and then the Edward break came, and I had to switch it off, and I never found out what it was. The next one I watched was Revolutions, actually, which was, I know them very well now, but back then I didn't know what was going on. And then there was the scene where the Sentinels absolutely eviscerate this general guy. I'm sorry, I forgot his name, and he was just blood on his face, lying on the ground. Was it Mouse? The kid one, the one that thinks Neo saved him, but that broke free by himself from the Matrix. That one, he talked to him, and my my parents came in. They just saw this guy bloodied, and they said, "No, you're just gonna stop this." So I stopped it, and I did not see the Matrix until I was 16, 17, and I watched them then in order, and I was absolutely smitten. I loved them. I've probably watched every Matrix movie. First one I've probably watched about 20 times. The second one, I don't know. I watched the scenes I like, and then the second one I like the part. I don't know. It's like with me, it's I like the part where they are in the Matrix more than the other part. The first movie is one of the best movies ever made, in my opinion. Second one I loved from the moment they step into the Matrix. I love the world building outside the Matrix a bit, I like that as well. But when they got back into the Matrix and when Agent Smith showed up and when the upgraded agents came fighting Neo, I loved that so much. And the third one I didn't like that much. Didn't like Revolutions that much. I liked the end fight though. It was a very, very beautiful ending to the series, and the things that came before, with Trinity's, yeah, you know what I mean. And Neo then going to Deus Ex Machina, great name, and yeah. So I like the Architect. I know a lot of people didn't like the Architect. I love the Architect. I like the philosophy he brings, and I know some people think it's stupid. I can understand where those people are coming from, but for me personally, I always love that part. I love the Oracle, one of my favorite characters, and Agent Smith is probably one of my favorite characters ever made. He's such a presence. Hugo Weaving did such a good job. I absolutely loved him. And I said it in the Matrix trailer reaction. I went as Agent Smith for my the last year of high school, the last weeks. There's a costume week where there every day you have a different costume or a certain theme, and the theme was heroes of the childhood, and I went as Agent Smith. Don't know. Yeah, but I loved Agent Smith. I just loved that character. It was the first, I think it was the first character ever where I felt it so deeply layered. And Agent Smith is one of my favorite characters of all time. I like Neo too a lot, but Agent Smith, wow, perfect. And Hugo Weaving nailed it. So yeah, sorry for the long introduction, so to speak. That's where I'm coming from. So that's what Matrix is for me. Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, whilst I'm talking, I watched Animatrix as well. I don't remember much of Animatrix. I remember two things. I remember the thing with the one with the sprinter guy, the guy that wanted to break the world record, and he woke up from the Matrix for a little time and the agents couldn't get to him, and then he was crippled, but he knew that he was free. I remember that, and I remember Second Renaissance. Second Renaissance was the first anime movie, clip, whatever, show, medium, that ever gave me severe shock and nightmares. First one was Princess Mononoke. I love that one as well. Beautiful anime movie. But Animatrix, this is it's the story of how the machines got the power, how they beat humanity, what happened. They get the machines, but there is this scene where the machines are experimenting on the humans, and the humans are cut here. So their front side is normal, but their back side is missing, and they take their little sentinel legs or arms and they put it in the brains, and the humans start laughing and crying because they analyze their emotions and their hippocampus, and their amygdala and stuff like that. That was so harrowing. I hated the scene. So I got my first nightmares from that. I think that was the scariest sci-fi thing I've ever watched. So yeah, but I liked it. I loved it. So that's where I'm coming from. So now let's start getting into the movie actually. And if you skip this, it's okay. So the movie. Um, First thing I want to say is I want to make this video because I need to think about the movie, because this is not a movie that makes sense and that you can digest immediately. I think you have to think about it. That is good. That is already good. Um, I'm not gonna tell you whether I think the movie is good or not because I don't know yet. I hope I will find out in this video, which is why I make this video actually. So, um, the non-spoiler version. Was it a Matrix movie? Yes and no, and that's so weird. I can't tell. I don't know if it fits. When I watched the first three movies, even the third one, which I don't like that much, um, I have this certain feeling, the feeling this is the Matrix. Also, when I watched Animatrix, I have the feeling this is the Matrix. In this movie, there are parts and sequences where I had the feeling too. There are parts where I did not have the feeling. So, there are parts of the movie that are very, very close to what I would expect a Matrix movie to be. There are parts of the movie that I don't think a Matrix movie is or should be, and that's just opinion. It's just opinion. It's not like this is how it has to be. But for me, it was some parts that didn't work, and some parts that worked exceptionally well. Um, I have to say the movie was creative, and it was by no way a Star Wars movie. And by that, I'm a bit mean again. And if you know this channel, you know it. I don't like the new trilogy of Star Wars. That's just rehash and member berries. This is not that. Even though there are member berries, there are a lot of member berries, but they are earned. They are earned, yeah. I think they are earned. So if you go into this movie and you saw the trailers and you think, yeah, this is kind of what I liked, and I want to watch this movie because I'm a Matrix fan and I want to remember the old Matrix, but I'm also ready for something new. This is the movie for you, I think. It was for me. So when I watched it, I watched it in two sittings, because we had a little break at the cinema, but that was technical difficulties because of Corona. The cool, whatever. I'm not gonna go into it, but yeah. So I watched the first part, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the first 15 to 20 minutes. And I didn't like them because it made me feel like this was just a cash grab, a sequel bait grab, not a sequel bait, but it was just like, yeah, member, and I did not feel that it was honest. It was the first 20 minutes or so. I don't know when it was. Yeah, I think it was 20 minutes, and then we had a little break. Um, and I actually am glad for that break, even though it was stupid. But it was like after that, I got the movie. I felt I got it. I still haven't processed it, but I got the movie, and it was a good movie from that point onwards. But the first half, I didn't like. I absolutely didn't. I loathed it. It was stupid. I didn't like it, even though there were parts. Even though there were parts that I liked, but in general, I didn't like it. I didn't like the first part. And in the spoiler section, I will talk about why I didn't like it. But it gave me the feeling that it was not honest. It was just, hey, this is a cool idea, yeah, let's just do this. And I felt that what the movie was trying to tell me in the end, it didn't matter for that. So the first part I didn't like, but if you get through the first 15 minutes, and if you love them, it's okay, it's fine as well. I'm glad for you, but I didn't like the first 15 minutes. I didn't, I absolutely was appalled by them. I did. That's a bit harsh, but I didn't like them. But when it when it stopped being member berries, this and then it started to pick up, and and then it started to become a very good Matrix movie for me. There were new ideas, but they really respected what the Matrix trilogy was, but they got some new ideas. They were not big revelations. It was not this groundbreaking thing. It was not like it was hyped to be. There were some people I read in the forums that there were people who thought this is gonna be like Matrix One, and apparently Matrix One was, no one knew what it was about, and when you watched it in cinema, it flashed you, it blew you out of the seat. It was a great thing. And I can imagine that knowing what Matrix One is, but Matrix Four, no, didn't get that feeling, not at all. But it was not a movie that um was not a movie that made you go, oh yeah, they're just doing that for sequel because they want money. I did not get that impression. I got the impression that I think Lana did this. Lana do this? I think she did. I think it was only Lana who produced it, and she did a good job. In I'm sorry, I don't know if she wrote the script. The script is fine. It's okay. I think some tweaks were needed, but all in all, she did not sell it out. She did not sell out with this. I didn't get that feeling. This was not a sellout. It was not like Warner Brothers came to them and said, "Yeah, you know what, Lana and the other, see a guy girl, I don't know, but the other one, yeah, just do a Matrix movie. Another one, we want money. This is gonna make money. It's a remake, prequel, sequel, whatever. Just do it." It was not like that. I felt that her heart was in this. I did. So as much as I criticize modern movies sometimes for being rehashes, this was not a rehash. It was a nice addition to the Matrix universe. And the later part of the film, and most of it, there were things I didn't like as well, but all in all, it was courageous, and it was new. It added onto the lore. For me personally, it did not disrupt any lore. It added onto that, and many things made sense, and it was a fine movie. And there were parts where it said, you paid attention to this detail. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And then there were parts where I said, this does not work at all. But I understand your intentions. Fine. Better, and I don't know if this is bad or good, but I'm at the point in movies where I say, you got a new idea and you tried to make it work and it didn't work. I don't care. You had a new idea. I'm interested in new ideas because currently for me, Hollywood is very, by the books. I don't like that. And this movie was not by the books. It did something new. It tried new stuff. There were several characters I absolutely loved. Neo was one of them. And I will not talk about the others because it will be spoilers. But yeah, Neo, you probably saw the trailers. Keanu Reeves does a fine job, great job. And there are other characters I like. And it's a fine movie. I think I like it. I think I like it more than Revolutions, though I'm not sure. So I didn't like Revolution that much, but it's not as good as Matrix, not by any stretch, and it's not as good as Reloaded in my mind. But it might be better than Reloaded. No, sorry, might be better than Revolutions because it did more new stuff than that did, and it tried more stuff. It failed on some parts there, but it tried more new stuff than Revolutions did. Because Revolutions was just like, yeah, the machine's attack, yeah, you have to find a way to stop that, yeah, let's negotiate with the Deus Ex Machina, and then yeah, the Smith fight was genius, but other than that, it was just like, yeah, let's go talk to them, you know. And I'm being a bit mean, and I'm leaving out stuff, but this was more. So I know this has been rambling, and I cannot do better because I still haven't figured out what I think about it. But it's more positive than negative, I think. So if you want to watch this movie, watch it. If you're hesitant, watch it. If you're a Matrix fan, definitely watch it. Even though you might disagree with parts, but it did have heart, and I think it tried to do the right thing. So that's it for the spoiler-free review. Let's go into spoilers. So this is the last warning. If you don't want to get spoiled, just switch this off. Watch the movie, make up your own mind, but this is spoilers. So I like what they did with the Matrix. I like that this was a new Matrix. So the idea is, and if you've seen it, you know, and if you've not seen it, but it won't spoil, so the story is like this. Neo was taken in by the Deus Ex Machina, and a new program was tasked with developing or recreating the Matrix so that the machines can use humans more efficiently. And the program that did this had this idea that they would not use like this algorithm code, but they would use Neo and his emotions and his connection with Trinity and his yearning for Trinity and this emotional capacity to power the new Matrix, which is good. I like that. From a psychological standpoint, that is good because that can, I'm not going to talk about it here, but I like the idea a lot. So yeah, there were machines that disagreed, and they did not necessarily disagree with this thing, this new Matrix, but they disagreed with other machines. There was a civil war. Some fled. Some went to a new Zion-like city, which was called IO or 10. It's like clever thing. I don't know. I like the new idea of the new city. Niobe is leading that city. Morpheus is gone and probably ended. I don't know. I didn't really say, but they gave a nod to Morpheus. That was very nice. And the new Matrix idea, I like that a lot. That they create this new Matrix based on Neo and Trinity as well because he loves her and this love. So their plan is like Neo and Trinity, they know each other in this new Matrix. They have lost their memory in part, but they are close to each other so that they yearn for each other and they're not close enough to really hook up. So they use this yearning energy, this emotional energy to power the Matrix. And I love that. So they reconstructed Neo and Trinity. And there was a very gruesome scene where they reconstruct their brains and stuff like that. I loved it a lot. That was a very nice scene. And the idea is good as well. So the new Matrix has new rules. There have been spoilers that Trinity is now the one that's wrong. That's false. It's not like that. Trinity is Neo's way of being free, and he was like that in the past movies. I think, in my opinion, he was like that. It was consistent, and he wanted her, and because he wanted her so much, they used that for the new Matrix, and the new Matrix was coded with them as their core because they were in these pods and they were the core energy source, those two. So um, in this new Matrix, Trinity could got more power from Neo because Neo's the one, and his one power was transferred to her willingly or subconsciously, but it was transferred to her. So she's not the one. It's still Neo, but she can she gets some positivity, so to speak, some skills from Neo because of the design of the Matrix. It's inherent in the Matrix. It's what comes with this way of setting the Matrix up. So that was absolutely great. I love that. That was very good. So Neo has lost his mind, not mind as well, memory, and they suppress him with blue pills, which was great. And Neil Patrick Harris' character is actually the big bad. He's the analyst. He's suppressing Neo's memories. He's the program that constructed the new Matrix, and he's trying to get him in check, and he's trying to get him under control. And he placed Neo in this role where, and that's the part I didn't like, and I know people will like it. So it's personal opinion. It's nothing like this is absolutely stupid. No one can argue against it. No, I bet people will really like it, but I did not, because it did not feel Matrixy, you know. But it might have been good for people. So they put him in this role of a game developer. He developed 3 games, and they were the first 3 Matrix parts. So the machines took his latent memory and they put them into the game. So it was known what happened, but he thought it was just a game he created. So he thought it were not his real memories, just the game. Like that, but there were so many meta references, I didn't like them. They were too on the nose, they were not clever. So it's the movie even starts with the same way the first movie does. And there's a character called Bugs, and she gets into the first scene of the movie where Trinity is we're chased by policemen and Agent Smith and Agent Brown and Agent Jones. And I have to say, Bugs is my favorite character in the movie, and I didn't think she would be. Bugs is the pink-haired woman with the short-haired haircut, where you may say, oh, I know that haircut, I know what kind of character she's gonna be. And I thought as well, I have to admit that I did think as well that she would be a very fail character, but she was the best character in the movie. I liked Bugs a lot. She was my favorite character. So she was well written, well acted, and I understood her motives. She was layered. She was a really strong female character. And you don't get strong female characters in these times, if you know what I mean. You don't get them anymore, but this one was one. I felt that she was a strong female character. I loved her. She was, for me, one of the parts that made the movie next to Keanu Reeves. And she goes into this and she mucks around, and then she finds this. It comes out that she's in. So Neo had this Matrix thing programmed, and he's still programming. So the analyst is using him to update the current Matrix by his programming. It's also meta, but that was kind of fun. And he programmed this program called Morpheus. So he, from the first movie, he took the Agent Smith place of the 3 agents that come and try to catch Trinity, and he mixed Morpheus memories in there. So he created the Smith Morpheus thing. It's still called Morpheus, and it's the new actor, but he's like a mixture of Agent Smith and Morpheus, and he's a program. So we don't have Morpheus in this movie. We just have this program, and I hated that program. I have to be honest, I hated that. That was so stupid. It was one of the worst things of the movie. And Lawrence Fishburne was not asked back. And I get that it wasn't in the script, but this part, he acted so stupid. And the actor was very bad. I'm sorry, the actor was so bad. It was, or the direction, I don't know, but I trust Lana, so what was that? He didn't do anything in the end. He was like this tool that helped in 1 or 2 places, but you could have had a Gizmo toolbox for that. He was uninteresting, he was over the top, he was dancing around, and it was so weird. I didn't like that. It's personal opinion. might have been a great thing for people, but I hated that character. And then, yeah, so Bugs sets him free because he's the Agent Smith and he's running around trying to get Trinity, and then Bugs breaks him out through the keymaker, through a keymaker shop, which was a reference to keymaker, obviously, like that as well. And Bugs gets him out. And oh yeah, they don't go out through telephone; they go out through mirrors. So it's like they upgraded from Alice in Wonderland to Alice through the Looking Glass. I like that. That was so great, such a great thing. So they are in part 2 of the Matrix. You know, if there are 3 more movies, they are now in the Looking Glass universe, so to speak. I like that. But yeah, so yeah, Bugs was great, but Morpheus, he sucked. I'm sorry. For me, he sucked so much, so badly. So yeah, and then there's this, and then they try to get Neo out again, and Neil Patrick Harris' character is trying to get him in, and then they get him out finally, and it was not good. That part was, there were some scenes where I thought, oh, this is cool. It reminds me of the old Matrix, but that was member berry stuff, and it was not good member berries. Oh yeah, and by the way, the worst, it was worse than, for me personally, and this is really, really personal opinion. It was worse than Morpheus being the Smith Morpheus thing that he acted so stupid. The worst thing was Agent Smith for me. That was such a slap in the face. And so Neo is the programmer and he's working this company and he's the boss, and this other guy is also the boss. The other guy is played by this great actor, one of my favorite actors actually, very good actor. The one, the main character from Mindhunter. If you've seen that show, great show, great actor. He's so much potential, great actor, but that sucks so much. He was Agent Smith. Didn't make sense. And he didn't act like Agent Smith. Sometimes he put on these stupid glasses and he was like this cool young Agent Smith. I didn't really get his motives. He wanted to be free, but somehow he was in the Matrix. Somehow he was not deleted, and that was not clear to me. And he either overacted or he acted out of character. And I know Hugo Weaving didn't want to get back. And I know why he did not want to get back. I have a theory, and the theory is because his part sucked so much. Didn't make any sense. So that was so weak. And I like the actor, it was not the actor. So it must have been directing probably. Or the script. I don't know. But the Smith part, that just sucked so much. Because Agent Smith is one of my heroes. And I know that sounds stupid because he's the villain. But his philosophy was very, very deeply layered, very nuanced, and very thought through, and he made sense, and he wanted his own thing, but he was egotistical, but he was a character. And this Smith, I didn't even know what he wanted. He was just there doing his Agent Smith impersonation stuff, and then in the end he saved the day and then went away. I hated that. I did not like that. It was so stupid. But yeah, so, and he awakens together with Neo because they're linked. I mean, yeah, they are linked, I know, but whatever. So in the end, they managed to pull Neo out, and Neo sees the Trinity is in front of him in another pod because she was reconstructed as well as Neo was. And then he goes to Zion, and he is helped by 2 machines or 3, because some machines are now on the rebel side because of this civil war I talked about. That was good stuff, good lore. I like the lore additions. So Zion has somehow perished. I didn't really get that. And Morpheus failed. And Niobe now has this new city, Io, which is behind some virtual walls that somehow can lead Sentinels astray and to confuse them and not let them know where they are. But yeah. So she is trying to create a society with people and machines together. I like that. But there was Bugs and her crew. So Bugs is the new captain, and I think I like Bugs as much as I did Morpheus in the original trilogy. Even I have to say that she was such a good character. So she is against Niobe. She says, "F you! I'm gonna do what I think is right. I'm gonna try to save Trinity with Neo because I believe in Neo." So she did this on her own. She defied orders already to get Neo out, and she did everything, and she risked her life and her crew, which her crew was with her. And I didn't. It was a bit weak. I did not get her crew that much because there were so many things happening, and she had like 7 or 8 members, and I knew one girl was like, I don't remember her crew. Was a bit weaker than the first crew from the first Matrix, but Bugs was a strong character, and they all survived as well in the end. So yeah, but I like Bugs. So she's defiant, and then anyway, in the end, they find Sati. That was one of my favorite moments in the movie, and I've read some reviews of the movie, and some people hated that Sati was this important character like the Oracle. I don't see it that way. I think it was a nice nod back because Sati is the girl that went to the Oracle in Matrix Revolutions, and that got overwritten by Smith, and it was this great, beautiful scene where where the Oracle asks Smith what happened to Shati or Sati. I'm sorry, I didn't really name. And she says, cookies need love like everything does because he overwrote her and she's inside him. And she says, you ass of a bee. And he says, you will know, mom. Because she's his mother, but whatever. Sorry, I like the scene. But yeah, it's the girl, the Indian girl that Neo saved in Revolutions, and she said that her father was tasked with constructing the real version of this Matrix, so the ports, and he downloaded the program to her. She's program, and I liked her part. She was good. She was also one of my favorite parts of the movie because there was nostalgia done right. So you had this character in the originals, and she was important, but it was more like the story that was told around her made her important, but you did not see her act. And here you saw her act, and she had a personality, and she had her own motives, and she was a good character and a pure-hearted machine character, and loved her, liked her part so much. I liked her, but yeah, yeah. By the way, that was great as well. So when you see the machine pods, the human farms, they're like half of them are missing because they all awoke from revolutions. I like that little touch. But anyway, so then they have this plan. They want to get Trinity out, and Neil Patrick Harris character, the analyst, tries to stop that because he wants to. Yeah, his Matrix has to stay. He wants that. And they have this plan where they have to convince Trinity in the Matrix that she's not really in the Matrix. I'm sorry, that she's in the Matrix and she has to wake up and she has to want it because they gave her a life she likes and a family. She has to choose Neo. So they have this strange scene where Neil Patrick scares everyone, like not Agent Smith, he shows up later, but all the rebels and all the programs in the Matrix, and they just show up in this place, and they ask her, and she says, yeah, if she chooses you, you can both go, and he says, yeah, and if she doesn't, you can keep her. And I will go into the Matrix again and power your stupid new Matrix, and yeah, so he convinces her, and then this fight breaks out. So that's that part. Yeah, and then Agent Smith randomly shows up and has Neo and absolutely F's on and clowns on the analyst. And, you know, uh, it was quite kind of funny, but it was not Agent Smith. That character was not Agent Smith. It didn't feel like Agent Smith. But that was the thing I didn't like. But in principle, if that would have been another character, like the Merovingian, the French dude, he showed up, by the way, in a fan service scene where Neo fought Smith for a while, and then the Merowinger shows up and didn't lead to anything, was just there. But yeah, so that would have been cooler. But Agent Smith somehow is on Neo's side and then puts on sunglasses and just leaves and says, yeah, we're cool now. So stupid. Stupid scene. Whatever. So, and then they flee, try to get out of the Matrix, and the analyst activates this swarm mode, which he can do so. It's a new program, and what it is like the agents that take over bodies, but it's like they take over the minds, and the people become zombies, and suddenly Neo and Trinity start cruising away on a motorcycle, running away from the cops, and then suddenly the swarm mode activates in the whole Matrix, and everyone tries to self-delete by just jumping out from the window on top of them. That was a great scene. great idea, great scene. But yeah, they flee. The other humans are a bit in peril, but in the end, they just survive. It happens, whatever. And they go onto this roof. And Neo is just, all his one powers are gone the whole time. He can't fly. All he can do is do the shield thing where he stops the bullets, and that's what he always, that's what his thing is in the movie. So they go up to the roof, and there are helicopters attacking them, and he diverts the rocket from one helicopter into another, and then they jump off a building, and then suddenly Trinity can fly because, I mean, she remembered, and now she's the one, but she's not. So she has a better, because I think she has more self confidence. She feels more in tune with the Matrix and than Neo at the time, and I think it's just temporal. So she can fly, gets Neo out, and after that, Neo gets back into being the one, and Trinity shares his power because they're in this emotionally grounded matrix where she has that because it's programmed that way. Left that was good. So Neo has the one, and Trinity shares his powers because of the design and the code of the new matrix. And then they just fly around. Both can fly. Both are great, and they just beat up Neil Patrick Harris's character in the end. And that's the movie. Um, yeah, so I like the story a lot. I like the additions to the lore they made. Um, it's just that the first half was so meta. Like they were like, yeah, one of the so Neo's this programmer, I told you, and you probably know if you saw the movie. And I hated that they just were like, yeah, one of the said we have to make a Matrix 4. What should we do? And then they go through all these cliches that you could do with member berries, like, yeah, let's do some bullet time. That would be cool. Everyone will like it. That was too meta for me. I like that as a skit, as a sketch, whatever, but I don't like it as a movie that's part of the trilogy. It did not feel right to do that. I know what it tried to do. I understand that completely. It was trying to do criticism on itself, on the Matrix movies, and yeah, that's fine, but it didn't fit for me. Didn't like it. Hated Morpheus, hated Agent Smith. I loved Bugs, loved Neo. I kind of liked Niobe. I liked Sati or Shati or how she was called, and the robots. And do I want a continuation of this movie? Yes. I think I want it. I hope it's without the meta stuff. I hope Hugo Weaving is back because the new Smith did not have the gravitas of Hugo Weaving, not in the slightest. Because it was written that way, not because the actor couldn't pull it off. The actor could have pulled it off. I know the actor, but it was not in the script. I hope Hugo Weaving's back. I hope they ditch the stupid new Morpheus. He was stupid. I hope they make Bugs and Trinity and Neo the new team and Bugs' crew. I would love that. Um, yeah, so was it a good movie? Yeah, I think it was. It was an ambitious movie. It was not a safe bet. You can make a movie and have it a safe bet like every Marvel movie, almost every Marvel movie. And I don't mean that derogatory, you know? I've not seen a lot of Marvel movies. I've seen perhaps 5, but um most of them were the same formula and it got stale and it was predictable, stupid jokes, great characters, great characters, stupid jokes, interesting story, but meh villains. That was Marvel all the time. Or like Star Wars was this, yeah, let's do the same thing again. This, and I don't want to pick up a fight. It's just like there are many things they do safely. It's the safe bet. That's why the Snyder Cut was not released till this year, I think. Because there was not a safe bet. It was a 4-hour movie almost. It was one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. But they said, no, it's not what our reports tell you. And polls can be so stupid. And they did not rely on polls here. And they just made their movie. And Lana, I think it was Lana. I think she did it alone. So she said, I'm making this movie. I'm gonna do some commentary on the old Matrix. And that didn't work for me. And then I'm gonna do something new. I'm gonna expand the lore, and that worked for me. So was it a good Matrix movie? If you exclude the first 20 minutes where they tried to be meta, which might be of your taste, but it was not of mine, I like that movie. And if the first 20 minutes had not been, and the ending had not been a bit rushed, and some characters had not been so unexplored, like through Crombux's hovercraft, I would have liked it more than Revolutions, and perhaps even more like Reloaded. Um, yeah, one other thing I didn't like. I can't believe I forgot that. The combat. Combat was the worst combat ever in a Matrix movie. You know, there were so many jump cuts, close-ups. It was the Taken stuff. Like the memes from Liam Neeson's Taken 3, where they you can't make out what's happening, who's fighting. Camera work was atrocious. The action was atrocious. The effects and the fight scenes were atrocious. Nothing new, nothing ambitious, nothing groundbreaking, nothing even coming close to any of the previous Matrix movies. I hated the combat, hated the action. So bad. So bad. So if you want, and I'm sorry that I forgot it, because for me Matrix is a philosophical movie that makes you think, this series, and not like action, even though I like the action. But action fell flat. Action was absolutely stupid. Hated it. So if you want Matrix action, don't watch this movie. If you want the philosophy of Matrix continued and questioned, and if you can look over some meta stuff, it's a fun movie. Fun movie. So this has been now going on for 41 minutes. I hope I didn't bore you if you're still there. If you are, consider liking and subscribing. I'm normally not this rambly, but I just wanted to get this out because I wanted to understand how I think about the movie. Now I do, I think, a bit more. So thanks for sharing this journey with me. And yeah, watch it. Tell me what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like? What did you not like? And yeah, it's still Christmas for 30 minutes here in Germany. It's Christmas. So I hope you have a great Christmas. See you soon. Bye.